You know, it's wild. We always think of canceled cars as kind of a thing of the past. We always think back to, yeah, man, 2010, they canceled dozens of cars. 2012, they canceled a bunch too. And of course, going into Cars 3 in early 2017, they canceled a bunch more. We don't really think of it as a recent thing. And that is because, well, Mattel just simply hasn't been canceling as many cars these days, or if they aren't getting leaked out to the public as much as they used to through stock images on Amazon and Walmart listings and other sorts of backdoor methods. Now, I will say, of course, last year I did reveal, and by last year I mean a few months ago in like July, I think I revealed that Margaret Motorray replaced the scintillating clown in the 2024 mainline. So we do have one known cancellation even this year, but that is way better than some years over the last 12 to 15 years. So here is an example of one of those 2010 cancellations being the Fiber Fuel cab. I almost wanted to say crew chief there because they did indeed cancel the Fiber Fuel crew chief in 2019, but if you guys didn't see, I did a big 2025 reveals video about a month ago where I confirmed that the Fiber Fuel crew chief is coming back this year. They are uncanceling him just like they uncanceled the Taco Mint crew chief for 2024. Now, it's unlikely that they ever uncancel the Fiber Fuel cab just because they haven't really put out a new hauler in ages besides the Marty Next Gen Walmart hauler. They haven't done really anything uncanceling wise from the 2010 pit crews like at all. They've released new pit crew members, none of which being the ones they intended in 2010, like the Fiber Fuel crew chief or the Taco Mint crew chief, which is kind of ironic. But welcome in. This is day 4 of the 12 days of Christmas. We'll get to the shout outs later, but this is also Canceled Car Tuesday, the first one I've done in quite some time. This might only be the second one of the year, which is crazy, but in all fairness, I'm running out of canceled cars to review. I do have a few more in mind though, so don't worry, the series isn't going anywhere. I want to combine season and series always. Like those two words are just so conjoinable. But let's dive in here with the real deal canceled prototype Fiber Fuel semi-cab. I was able to obtain this on eBay about 6-7 years ago at this point. So when you guys ask, how'd you get that? Where'd you get that from? eBay. It's a public platform. You could use it too. And as I always say, it is safer to buy than it is to sell on eBay because you could screw the seller over as a buyer a lot easier than you could screw the buyer over as a seller. Trust me, you got to use it to your advantage if you're a buyer within the bounds, of course. But yes, one of the best scores in my collection. I don't know anyone else in the world who has one of these. Now, there very well could be, but I don't know. There was the one shown at the Peterson Automotive Museum in 2011-12, and then after that, I don't know. This one popped up on eBay. I got my retread trailer and my Easy Idle semi from the same person, and that was that. That person never sold anything again besides an Elvis prototype. So there was that. I do like the prototype for this guy. Not quite as exciting as some of the other canceled hauler expressions, like the Gasperin expression here. You can see how just dialed in he is with those burrowed eyebrows. This guy's just happy, jovial, smiling, big old teethy smile, no tongue or mouth in there like you see. I know that sounds weird, trust me. I know that sounds weird, guys, but I have to point it out because, boom, you got tongue right there with the RPM semi-cab. So yeah, it's a good benign expression. You got the Fiber Fuel logo there up on the cap, which looks pretty good. Run regulars, the slogan. You got the little strand of wheat in between the text there. Of course, number 56 here on the side. He does have a mouth plate, and it is a slightly off shade of yellow. Doesn't match perfectly the die-cast metal. It's a little bit darker, but we know that they've struggled with this, especially with the N2O Cola semi. Man, that one looks horrible. Completely different shades of purple. But with this, pretty unnoticeable, but that is a plastic mouth plate compared to the metal die-cast semi-cab there. But yeah, not a whole lot going on here. Just the simple design, numbers on either side with the main logo there on the cap. You do have the logos on the mud flaps here, which is pretty awesome, with the license plate reading 4G3EI5. Let's test out this 5 zoom. Wow, that is good zoom. The text above it looks like it says differential. That's kind of weird. Interesting. That 5x zoom here on the iPhone Pro 16 Max is going to come in handy a lot, I think, as we zoom in to see what these blurry license plates read, especially on the Thailand cars that are, extremely hard to read. But yeah, really cool that this one is in such great condition. It's got all the details, because one of my canceled semis, I think the Vuezine one, doesn't have this last piece right here. Like, this piece is actually separate from this piece here. Like, you could see a fine line right there. And so my Vuezine cab, I believe it is, doesn't have like the mud flaps, unfortunately. So very grateful that this one is fully intact. You can see the base there. It says Mattel Inc. on the left, Disney Pixar China, no date stamp. You do have these holes, though, where he would attach to the packaging. That's just how the trailers were always attached. Now, I was only able to acquire the cab here. This hauler, this trailer here that you see in the background is a custom from Jim Scavenger, so I got to show that as well. This is exactly how it would have looked. This matches the Peterson Automotive Museum version, and what we kind of barely maybe see of it in the movie. I will try and throw an image of it on the screen right now, if it's even slightly visible in the giant row of trailers at the Motor Speedway of the South. But obviously, maybe it's not obvious, but most semi-cabs like this guy don't actually ever appear in the movie. But obviously, we believe them to exist because we see all their trailers there, and someone's got to drive those things. But we don't see hardly any of the semi-cabs. I mean, you see Dynaco, the gray semi. You might get a glimpse of Chick Hicks's semi. Obviously, Mac. Besides that, though, you don't see any of these, which is pretty crazy. But that is just the nature of the game. Run in regular. That's pretty cool. That just got that simple slogan there on the roof. I'd say the color matches pretty well. This was a really good one for Jim Scavenger to make because he didn't have to paint the trailer. It's literally the Octane Gain trailer, I believe. I think so. Yeah, this is the Octane Gain trailer from when they re-released the Octane Gain hauler. And I think it was 2016 or so, which was a really cool re-release. Kind of reminds me now of how they're doing Gil in 2025, which is just a crazy statement to say that Gil is returning after 15 years. That's right. And let me tell you guys, Gil peg warmed like crazy back in the day. It was like, what the hell? There's too many of these Gils. Get them on my site. I want to see Ben Krankleshaft, Oliver Lightload, and Chet Boxcar, Paul Valdez too. Those four, extremely rare. Never found any of those. They were very rare in the United States and really the whole world. But Gil peg warmed for sure. And Jerry recycled batteries was not hard to find either. Here is the Thailand variant of the Fiber Fuel Racer Brush Kerber. So just kind of giving you an idea of how they look together. And I'd say, yeah, the color is pretty spot on for sure. We also have Megan Shifter here, the Fiber Fuel Pity that they did in 2019. Now, she has a little bit more of a black element to her that the Fiber Fuel hauler does not, which is kind of interesting. So we'll see how they end up designing the Fiber Fuel Crew Chief. This is how it really should look. This is how the original 2019 stock image from when they canceled it looks like, and this is a custom version also by Jim Scavenger. But as we saw with Mandy Frudenbender, the Taco Mint Crew Chief, they changed her up immensely from that stock image in 2019 to the finalized release in 2024. So we'll see. I think they'll just stick with how he looks, to be honest with you, but I would not be surprised if they change the model. Because they have not really, I mean, I guess they have done this model, was this like Gentan Sedan kind of Vanden Kerr, kind of? I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how that pans out. But yes, excuse me, guys. I also have a custom Fiber Fuel semi-cab here. I think this one here is from the diecast Dungeon. He used the Octane Gain semi-cab. So yeah, just a couple decals there. I put this one, I display this one with the custom trailer, even though they're from different customizers. And I put my real deal Fiber Fuel Crew Chief over with my other Piston Cup team members and Piston Cup Thailand variants. And I'll show you a couple of those other hauler cabs here in a moment. I've reviewed, I think, all of them by now in some capacity. I did definitely do Gasprin, one of my favorites, just with that expression. Not in quite as good of condition as the Fiber Fuel one is, but that's okay with me. Just grateful to have it at the end of the day. These things are so rare. They are in such high regard. Absolute unicorns of the diecast hobby that the condition is very low on the totem pole in terms of priorities for me. Here's the Easy Idle one that I got in the same batch. It was so funny. I'm pretty sure the Fiber Fuel cab was being sold with the retread trailer, and the Easy Idle cab was sold with a bumper save trailer. So it was a complete crazy mismatch. Obviously, the bumper save trailer not being really anything special. Obviously, it's a rare hauler, but not canceled or anything like that. Would have been just wild if that was like a tow cap trailer or think of another one like Vitaline. Would have been absolutely wild. Because there are 3 haulers that almost got out. You know, the Vitaline, Vuzine, and Gasprin haulers. Those were all shown on the back of the packaging for Ben Kranglechef, Oliver Leidlow, and Chet Boxcar in slightly different orders, of course. But Fiber Fuel, Tow Cap, Tank Coat were a lot farther down the pipeline, a lot less likely to come out. Like, they were a lot farther away. So if they were ever going to get released, it would have taken a lot. Like, the Vitaline, the Shiny Wax, Vuzine, all those would have had to come out. Easy Idle, N2O Cola, all those would have had to come out just to sniff the Fiber Fuel and Tow Cap haulers. They were so deep in the abyss, right? They were so far down the pipeline that, and retread, of course, all those retread, Tow Cap, and Fiber Fuel, I think, are like the bottom of the barrel when it comes to those. Like, those were the last on Mattel's list. Whereas Easy Idle and N2O Cola, they were going to get those big team sets at Target where they'd be released with a wide pitty without the tool gun, and Easy Idle and N2O Cola were also going to get the team sets with the crew chief and the 3 pitties included. Then you would have gotten solo Shiny Wax, Vitaline, Gasprin, and Vuzine haulers. Then you would have gotten a Tank Coat one, and then, just maybe if you're lucky, you would have gotten the Fiber Fuel Tow Cap and retread haulers. There might be one more in there that I'm forgetting, probably is. But anyways, that is all I have for you guys for this review. Thank you so much for watching. I have a big Fiber Fuel team because there's also this factory custom pickup truck that looks kind of goofy. My original crew chief from the diecast dungeon before Jim Scavenger made a more accurate version based on that stock image. Of course, got the trailer here, got the real deal semi-cab. So yeah, thank you guys, as always, for watching. Before you go, though, check out the shout-outs. Let's do those. I'm trying to organize this nicely. Yeah, I want Megan up here. Could be a big year for Fiber Fuel, considering that the crew chief is supposed to be coming out later in the year. Anyways, shout-outs to those who suggested the Fiber Fuel cab. Ashel Cuffero, thank you very much. Now, Stop Motion Maniac 222, I'm pretty sure just said any canceled pit crew member. This definitely qualifies. Maybe not a pit crew member, but a Piston Cup team member. The Rolling Golden Prime 8670 also suggested the Fiber Fuel cab. So thank you guys very much for watching. Thank you for your support. Happy holidays. Merry Christmas. We'll see you tomorrow for day 5. Bye now.